Leader for an excellent presentation, speech. The time was 3 minutes and 58 seconds, so almost four minutes. And I'm sorry, I think what's missing is the amber color, but you have to put it with the red. So yes, we have two now. I think we'll move on to the next speaker, Raiyan Aseri, Media and Fake News.
Keep it close to the mic.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're well. I'd like to thank the chair for inviting me up here. Today, I'll be discussing how the media manipulates us to think and believe what they want us to think and believe. Before I begin, please raise your hands if you trust the media. That's what I thought. So, our grandparents actually got their news from newspapers and articles. Now, they could assume that the media was unbiased, because professional integrity was a cornerstone of a journalist's credibility and one of the most important things of their time. On top of this, it was considered a public service to pass on knowledge of current affairs. Now, our parents probably got their news from TV like BBC or ITV News at 4 o'clock or 10 o'clock. Increasingly, we start to move to a more 24 hours type of news, which led to an increase in competition to be the trusted news source. However, it also decreased the time for fact-checking. A journalist's number one obligation is honesty, and unfortunately, due to the decrease in time spent fact-checking, this quality in journalists has been decreasing. According to several surveys, people's confidence in the mass media has consistently been declining since 2010. Today, we get most of our news from social media like Twitter, Reddit, Snapchat, Facebook, and the top two sources are Instagram and YouTube. We have so many options to get news, and they're all free. It's been said that our generation is the smartest and most well-informed in history, having unlimited access to news and opinions and growing up online. However, the reality is that too much access to news and information may be having the opposite effect. According to a new study, people have become overly dependent on social and user-generated media like wikis, and may in reality be having less exposure to real news sources. Now that I've briefly explained the change in how we access news, I'll tell you how the media twist the truth to make it convey whatever message they want to send. The media can present real facts and statistics in different ways to exaggerate them. An example of this is, let's say there's a car company that's made a new car that's 93% efficient, and the rival car company has a car that's 91% efficient. Now the efficiency is pretty much the same. What the company will do is it will make a graph, and rather than starting it at 0, it will start it at 90. So their car is at 3 and the other one is at 1. This graph makes it look as if their car is 3 times more efficient than the other one, whereas they're pretty much exactly the same. Another thing the media can do is crop or change the perspective of photos to spark different emotions. An example of this was a photo taken of Prince William a few years back. There was a photo of him where he was making an OK symbol to the crowd, and obviously there's camera crew all around him, so one photographer got a photo of him on a side view, and it looked as if he was sticking his middle finger up to the crowd, which obviously he wasn't doing, but that one image could completely tarnish his reputation. Social media uses all these methods to produce fake news to spread false information. The impact of fake news can be detrimental because information shapes our worldview. We make important decisions based on the information we have. And if the information we're receiving is false, exaggerated, or distorted, we won't be able to make out good, thought-out decisions. Fake news can have major impacts on issues like racism, violence, and politics. There's a quote that goes, "A lie can travel halfway across the world whilst the truth is still putting on its shoes." So what can we do to prevent being misled by false information? Don't read tabloid newspapers like Daily Mirror, The Sun, Daily Star, as they're all full of exaggerated headlines and rumours. Another thing we must do is stop sharing messages, for example on WhatsApp. We all know how easy it is to simply forward a message to hundreds of people on WhatsApp, and the media will use this to their advantage so that they can spread false information quickly. And finally, when we read the news, we must have our guards up and make sure that we're focused on what we're reading. We must check or get information from reliable sources, and we should make sure it's true as well. I hope you've enjoyed this talk and learned something new. Maybe you found it interesting enough to let your guards down and accept everything that I said as the truth. So maybe you should be wondering, was anything in this talk fake news? Thanks for listening.